legislation. We got some legislation introduced today in California.
There's a new flammability standards rule that was unveiled today in California.
The morning news meeting at KPBS. News managers and reporters discuss some of the day's lineup of stories.
Are you going to push him about the fact, I mean, in that interview, he published things that there's no way he didn't know they were untrue.
Activities are charted on a smartboard, which is available on screens throughout the large newsroom. Other planning is noted on large whiteboard walls. The reporters and producers know the stories they develop will get to the public across media platforms, on radio newscasts, the daily television newscast, and prepared for interactive web content.
And so I knew news was what we were going to do, and I knew that we needed to do it across all platforms.
As I cannot tell you how many people have come up to me and said, but what do you do if TV doesn't want to work with radio? And I just say, are you in charge? And they say, yes. I say, you tell them that they must. You write a plan, explain why it makes sense. You get yourself some stats and prove it, and then you train them.
The transition to a fully integrated all-news station was years in the making, made possible by multi-million-dollar grants from Dr. Irwin Jacobs, the founder of Qualcomm.
I was really initially reluctant to get into TV because I always hated it, but I figured out that it's very creative. I didn't know that about TV.
Each of the reporters and producers were taken off of their daily jobs for 6 months over a 3-year period while they were cross-trained in multi-platform news creation. The second floor of KPBS was gutted to create a large, open newsroom for the 40-person news staff, which is supported by a production team of 28 full and part-time employees, including 15 students. 60 Apple computers loaded with Final Cut Pro software are part of the newsroom landscape. Other programs are edited in a communal post-production facility on the first floor. To make the switch, KPBS reallocated staff to support the needs and made a number of new hires. The Members Magazine was eliminated. Outreach largely supports news content. The station also dropped most of its documentary productions beyond news specials, as well as programs designed for national distribution. The dozen beat reporters are given time to develop their stories. The minimum expectation is one 4-minute television feature every 2 weeks and 2 1-minute news spots per week, plus the web stories that are developed in tandem with the interactive team.
Time definitely is crucial, and luckily we're given the latitude, we're given the time to spend on these things. And I think some real productive time, as we all know, is just thinking about stuff. Taking a half day and just doing some research or making some calls and reading up on your things that you put aside and trying to develop your stories, because we can't just churn it out every moment like a factory, because then you get in creative ruts and things like that. So yeah, I think time is the thing, and it becomes even more crucial when you have all these platforms that you have to deliver to, and the content expectations go up.
In addition to the small complement of staff videographers, the reporters are equipped with small video cameras used to get both audio and video for stories. News managers admit that some reporters never take the lens caps off of their cameras. iPhones are also used to get pictures and video. A typical newscast has one longer feature and one shorter package, with studio interviews and reporter debriefs filling a lot of the shows. The station currently does not have the capacity to do live shots from the field. KPBS also has an investigative reporting unit that works collaboratively with the university-based reporting service. Since making the Convergence, annual revenues have gone up dramatically, with foundations and individuals making multi-year contributions to endow certain beats and content areas. KPBS web utilization has made a dramatic improvement, and KPBS FM is a top performer in San Diego talk radio. The TV newscast gets about a 0.5 rating, but it's a number that keeps both management and funders happy.
Last 2 years, positive growth, a $4 million growth in our balance sheet in net assets, from 10 million to 15 million in net assets that we've seen. That's a positive change too. The other thing I want to talk about is our revenue. In 2008, our operating budget was 17 million. It's now 23 million.
It's clear the staff has embraced the concept of convergence. It's a strategy that has resulted in a well-resourced operation that has captured the imaginations of the station's substantial membership and funding communities.
Our visits overall from the time prior to being a news website to now, we've grown to over 600,000 visitors a month when we were in under 100,000 prior to that.
We're still making mistakes. You will make mistakes. But again, I'm just repeating, it's not about asking one person to do the same story on all 3 platforms.
And new hires inevitably are screened for their embrace of cross-platform content development.
When you hire new people, make sure they have drunk the Kool-Aid, and what it says in the picture is pour me some Convergence.